schedule here, and she has about 30 minutes with us. So before she's off to her next appointment. But I wanted to give some shout outs tonight to some people that did amazing in October. So Mavis was our first one. She ranked up to Super Silver. She got bonus silver. She actually enrolled 6 people and got an extra $300 US. She got $150 for bonus for ranking up to Super Silver, and she's got $150 US for the 6 welcome packs. So in total, she got $800 US, so over 1,000 Canadian.
Pretty good month.
I spent it all Christmas shopping today.
Perfect timing, right, Mavis?
Exactly.
Now we can do it all again for November and get that pay right before Christmas. And then we have Linda, who ranked up to silver. She also did enrolled 3, got $100 bonus for ranking to silver, and she got $150 bonus for enrolling 3 in October with our incentive. So,
Yay, Linda!
Who else do I have? Barbara, who's Dennis's cousin, also ranked up to silver. She couldn't make it on the call tonight, but she is in doing business with us now. And we had 3 people join our team in the last little bit. Jessica Littler couldn't make it on tonight. She's out with her little boys doing some activities. Nikita, who's jumping in with us, she ordered her products, and then we started talking about the business. So I think it's going to be a perfect fit for her with us. We're so excited she joined us. And then Tammy, my niece, last night, she ordered her products, and she's interested in learning about the business. She would have been on tonight, but she's not feeling well, so it was one of the reasons why I want to do the recording, to make sure it gets out to everybody.
Thanks for coming on, team. And tonight we have Natalie Foeller, not Leanne Beckett as it says on the screen. We met Natalie approximately about 6 years ago. We knew we had a great coach and teacher when we met her for the first time when she came to Fort McMurray. Natalie's been in network marketing for 25 years. She was a nurse manager and nurse, and retired from that to do network marketing full time. She took a couple companies, I think, pretty close to the top, if not the top. And she decided she had one more network marketing company to get through into her snowbird years in Florida. She spent 6 months in Florida every year. She's retired from the regular workforce and doing network marketing full time. And she is the one that just keeps us motivated. She's the one that's just teaching us so much about this business. And she's the one that inspired us to take this on full time. Take it away, Natalie.
Okay, great. And thank you guys all for getting on. Like Cindy said, I don't have too much time with you, but I'd love to chat with you a little bit about building this business, especially when there's some of you that are newer to this industry. And one thing for sure is each and every month, your growth and your success is going to have to do with your belief in the product, using the products, having success, sharing the product, seeing other people have success, tapping into things like this, or the Monday motivational call that the company puts out, or the Sunday call that we did, tapping into things, because that's what's going to fill your cup. That's what's going to help you develop your belief in this business. And we always say that this is a personal development course with a paycheck. That's what network marketing really is about. It's about your personal growth. And I've been working with Cindy and Dennis for these 6 years, so I've seen the huge growth. I saw the time when the phone would ring and I think, oh, okay, they're calling now to tell me about, they're looking at another business, or somebody's talking to them about another business, or maybe this isn't for them. And you can lose people in there, because some people will just quit before they get through some of the growth that they have to go through. If you've never done this before, you have to appreciate that there's going to be growth, and there's going to be times that and I can tell you, it doesn't matter how big you get in this business, there's going to be months you feel like you work harder to not be doing any enrolling. And then another month you think, man, they're just like falling out of the air. I'm getting phone calls and people are saying, I want to enroll. But every single person goes through those times. And if you just keep your eye on your goal and stay intentional with your work, trust the system. That means when you're doing your reach outs, don't worry that it's not the right timing. It's really important to recognize that most people, as you reach out to them, are not going to be ready because they like you, know you, and trust you. We always say reach out to the people who know you, like you, and trust you. That doesn't mean the first time you introduce it to them, they're going to be ready. You just keep sharing more information every once in a while. And one of the best things you can say, if they say it's not for them right now, say, okay, I thank you very much for taking a look at this and taking the time. I really appreciate that. Would it be okay when I see something that I think might be of interest to you, that I send it to you? They never say no, because you got to remember, your job is not to close them. Your job is to keep them open. It's a very different objective. Your job is just to keep everybody open to more information. When we talk about how do you give them information? Well, we know if you guys are following what we suggest, you're sharing stuff from our sharing system. You're getting Cindy and Dennis involved in 3-way conversations, say on Messenger, because they can handle objections far better than you can, because they've heard it all many, many times. When somebody says something like, maybe this is too expensive, you kind of like cave and say, I don't know what to say to that. Trust us, we do. We know how to handle that. We know how to raise value in the product so that the price becomes less of an objection. Sharing information. But I'm going to tell you, there's a stat, and I don't have the stat right here, but if you are doing a one-on-one, just you and them, and they might think that they know a little more about health than you, or they're just a little smarter than you, or they've had a little bit more experience in business, or they've had some experience in something, that they've done more than you, then it's a harder job to get them to come on board right away. Statistically, as soon as you bring in Cindy and Dennis and they become, or somebody in your support line, and they become the expert because you've edified them, you've said something like, my friend Cindy has been here for 6 years. She has helped dozens and dozens of people have success with this product. She also has a really fast growing team and was able to leave her job to do this full time. And right now they're working on retiring Dennis. Your job is to edify Cindy and Dennis, because they then become the expert when you cannot be the expert because they've known you since you picked your nose at 4 years old or something. You can make them the expert. So now when they are giving information, it's being listened to. That raises the success rate significantly. But you can even do better than that. When you can bring them into a group meeting, if there's a sip and share in your town that you can bring them into, the more people that are there and a few more people sharing testimonials, statistically, the belief system in your prospect is much greater. Here's a nice little thing too. Let's say, and even corporate makes this mistake sometimes. You go to a meeting and there's 30 people in the room. Now you bring a guest, and because you're an ambassador and you bring a guest, in their mind, about half the people are ambassadors and half the people are guests. And that raises the credibility of the business to them. They think, well, look at all these people who are taking a look at this. Now, if somebody at the front of the room makes a mistake and says, hey, put your hand up if you're a guest, and there's only 2 guests now in the room, they're like, okay, what did everybody else guests figure out before I got here? It's better not to draw that kind of attention. You want them sitting there and seeing positive response and great testimonials. But in their mind, they're one of several that are there taking a look at it, but they're seeing positive response. That raises, if you can bring them into a room of 5 or 10, it raises their chances of enrolling quickly significantly. If you can bring them into a meeting that's taking place, a corporate sponsored one, and there's 50 or 100 people, it's very unlikely they leave the room and they're not part of the company. So whenever there's an event you can bring people to, or you guys create events, Penny's in near St. John, New Brunswick. Now there's stuff going on there. So Penny will have stuff, to feed into. Some of the bigger places, there's things to feed into. You guys in Fort McMurray's can create some events. So events are really important. Learning how to invite people is really, really important. And if you can say something like, hey, Sheena, what are you doing on Thursday night? Sheena says, well, I don't know. I don't really think there's anything. Okay, I want you to write it on the calendar. I'm picking you up. I'm bringing you to a meeting over at Cindy's place. We're going to be talking about gut health and introduce you to this company called Plexus. It may or may not be for you, but I promise you're going to leave with a lot of really interesting information. This may or may not be for you becomes the out for them. It becomes, they hear right away, okay, I'm going to have a choice. I'm not going to be talked into anything. I'm going to have a choice. I use that all the time when I'm prospecting, talking to people. This may or may not be for you, but I won't waste your time. If you see it the way I think you might see it, you could be awesome at this. But when you invite them, it may or may not be for you, but I promise you're going to get some great information that can really make a difference in your health, that kind of thing. Or I think you could be awesome in the business. If you see it the way I think you might see it, you could be awesome. If it's not for you, it's okay. At least you're going to know what I'm doing. And maybe when timing changes, it may be for you. So, so that's something I just want to say. The other thing I wanted to suggest and then I just want to talk about some of the announcements this month because there's so many and it's confusing, I know, for people. One of the things I wanted to say, I was starting to say in the beginning, was that your mindset is 100% the only difference between somebody who makes it and somebody who doesn't. So often the people that go to Emerald, Sapphire, and Diamond are not as strong as you are. They're not as polished. They don't present as well. They don't have the same, as good a circle of friends as you do. They're not as credible as you are, but they believed in themselves. They believed in Plexus. They believed in the opportunity. And for that reason, they were far more successful because they didn't let any obstacle slow them down. So they just know what's going to happen. They know that the pathway to success is a very hilly and rough road. And so they just expect that's going to happen. And when you start to realize that your level that you're at is matching your leadership and when you heard, did you guys listen to that little training that was done by Fallon Black? Did you share that, Cindy? I'd shared it with you guys. You know, the one I put in the Plexus Leaders team leader page.
No,
okay,
I didn't.
You guys haven't watched this yet, but this is a woman who she was at Gold for a couple of years. Her upline, one of them said, "I just can't work with you. Like I just can't work with you." She was negative. She always had excuses for things not happening, and she was told that a couple times. And she shares that, and then she just thought, "What is wrong with me? You know, I've got this opportunity." She had young kids, so she was making excuses. Well, I'm busy because I have young kids at home and blah, 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 blah. Even though she saw all these other people with, you know, not just 2 or 3, but, you know, she actually has 5 or 6 kids too. But, you know, she saw people with even more kids who weren't using that as an excuse. And she quickly, when she made a decision, went to Diamond. But she talked about mindset. And when she had a couple Emeralds, she knew they were going to go. Because whenever they were asked to do something, speak, train, even though they were nervous as heck, they just said, okay, all right, you want me to do it? I'm going to do it. And they stepped up. And you see that in those that are leaders. And I can remember calling Cindy, and she did not want to do the thing for Canada. I can't do it. I said, Cindy, you can do it. She didn't really want to, but then she said, all right, if you think I can. And she did amazing. So it was polished, it was professional, it was well thought out. She couldn't have done a better job. But I wasn't nervous about her doing a good job at all, but she was really nervous about it. So, but that's what you have to do. You just got to step out of your comfort zone sometimes, and you surprise yourself by the things that you can do. But I wanted to recommend, actually, there's one book that a lot of people are talking about right now. You probably know the book, What to Say, no, just a minute. Let me see what to say when you talk to yourself. If you write that down, what to say when you talk to yourself. That's a really good book. But there's a new book that I have not read, and I want to just tell you about that one because everybody's talking about it. Quite a few people are doing book clubs with it. And it's by Carol. This is what the picture of the book looks like because she has another one. I have her old one. This is, can you see that purple, blue, green line going across, lines across the top? And it says Mindset, the New Psychology of Success. And the author's last name is D as in dog, W-E-C-K. Carol Dweck, The New Psychology of Success. I heard one of the Diamonds the other day said, is it critical that you're reading personal development books? No. But she said, I don't know anybody who's made it to Jewel that hasn't made that part of their daily activity. Even if it's just 20 minutes a day, 15, 20 minutes. If you put that book beside your bed, you take it with you when you have coffee in the morning, you do 15, 20 minutes a day. Mindset is so critical, but it's like a cliche thing when we say it. You don't even realize that your mindset is your stumbling block. So, and I, you know, when it happens, when you hear people like I'm using Cindy and Dennis as an example, there was a time where I actually thought, okay, I'm either going to push them into doing this, or I'm going to knock them off the cliff and they're done, one or the other. But it didn't matter because they were in their own way all the time anyway. And so because they were frustrated with things, which legitimately Canada wasn't open and we had legitimate things to be frustrated. So it wasn't like there weren't legitimate things. You guys have not had to experience any of that yet. But we were all going through it, and Cindy was feeling frustrated. And I remember saying, you guys need to be at convention. No, I don't want to go to convention. We're not going to, it's too hot. Cindy said, it's too hot. I'm like, I've never heard that excuse. It's too hot. And I'm like, I told a few people after that, actually. I got the best excuse I've ever had. It's too hot to go to convention.
Oh, and how I've changed.
And I said, like I was saying to them, I don't know, does she think we're sitting out in the hot sun in a chair doing convention, that we're not in a convention center? But they went, and it completely changed their belief.
Totally.
Completely. So when we push you to do something that you've never done, I think Penny, because she's now experienced a big corporate event in San Diego, Penny can tell you, you can't, if I said to Penny right now, describe to everybody what it was like in San Diego, you couldn't really describe it very well, could you?
Nope.
You can't, because it's a feeling, it's an experience. Mm-hmm. It's this thing that happens inside. So when we say to you, please register for Leaders Retreat, for convention in Nashville, please do. You can register, and if before then you decide you can't go, you can get your money back. You can spend the $119, get yourself registered, because it will sell out. It always sells out. They're in a bigger venue this time, which will hold 15,000. It always sold out at the 12,000. But you can get your money back if you can't go, because there's always people on a waiting list. But I think he thought if he was crouched over, we wouldn't see him. That was cute. So I ask you to do that. The other thing I really want you to do is register for Super Saturday, which is January the 11th. You don't have to leave your house but there's two events. One's in Fredericton and one is in Edmonton. Is that right?
No. Calgary. And Frederick.
Well, I totally get that going from Fort McMurray to Calgary is not a reasonable thing to do in January. I'm not suggesting that anybody get in their car and drive. But I will say that I hope you guys create an opportunity. You get together in a church basement or
it's in my house.
And you get everybody together and you spend that day doing the training together. I certainly know it's too far to drive in a winter day. But if you were within just 2 or 3 hours, I would say absolutely. Cindy and Dennis have done it when it's in Edmonton.
Yeah.
But add another couple hours, 3 hours to it, that's a lot. But if you are like Penny will go to Fredericton because it's really close. If you can go to Fredericton or Calgary and you're within a 2 or 3 hour drive, you definitely want to be there. And even if you're going to Cindy's place and she's going to stream it, you want to register because there's always gifts. It's $19.99 to register and have your seat. Have yourself ready for Super Saturday, January the 11th. Okay, because I'm now running out of time. This month has so much that I want to make sure you guys are getting it. Like the first thing you have to know is that it's free shipping on hunger control until the 8th. So you have until the 8th to make sure that everybody in your organization knows about it. If you have anybody that has not purchased hunger control, maybe they have because they were getting it through the not for resale. If they're under 100 PV, you want to call them and say, you may not be aware of this. You might want to try this product. The rest of your order can be added to that hunger control slim, and the product will ship for free. That's a really good excuse. You want to let them know about the collagen product, the new collagen that I got a call today from Dory, and some of you don't know Dory, but some of you may, from Dory, and Dory called to say, sorry, this might be the next people wondering where I am. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. They don't know I'm on another call. Dory called to say she's only been on it for a few days, and she had something happen to her last week, and she's been really run down. And she said, Natalie, I don't know if this makes sense, but she said, I'm like, the difference in how I feel today compared to yesterday is like night and day. And the only thing I'm doing differently is the collagen. We do it for our skin, we do it for our joints, but collagen has a lot of benefits. And I'm going to get a video out in the next, well, maybe tomorrow. I'm going to do a video that I've put together all the information for the collagen, so you really understand that. So you can order that on the not for resale. This perks program that the company has come out. Put your hand up if you understand the perks program. Okay, everybody seems to understand it. Can't see Linda. I think we're looking at her ceiling, but put your hand up there, Linda. Okay. The perks program. This is going to be phenomenal. So I've now only talked to a few people, but one of the people that I talked to, she was an American, and her PV has been 95 forever. The people in her upline, one of them has tried calling her a couple times to say up it to 100, or do an order every other month. And she said she was going to order her 95 every other month, so she'd only pay shipping once every other month, only have to pay shipping once rather than have to pay shipping for the order each month, but she hadn't done it. So I phoned her and I said, we have a perks program. You're 5 PV away. Now in the States, there's quite a few combos, quite a few trial packs that are available. So I just took one of the trial packs that's block. And I said, it's going to cost you $8.95. And I said, if you add that to your order, that's going to give you 7 meals of block over the month that you can enjoy. And it's going to get you the 100 PV, but more importantly, you're going to get 100 perk points for that. And every 3 months, you're going to have enough for a free product. And I sent her the PDF to show her what product she would get for 300 PV, or you can save it and you can wait until you want to get a slim for free. And she thought that was awesome. And she's already changed her auto ship. Now, I had never spoken to her before. I told her I was making courtesy calls in the organization, and she was delightful to speak with. So making those calls and helping them to understand. Now, one of the other people I talked to, I said to her, in her case, I said, why don't you think about getting samples, slim samples, and every month, if you just have those 7 slim samples that you give out, then you've really raised your chances that you're going to have some customers. And you can tell them that you're giving as a trial, you don't know very much about it, you use a product and love it, and pass them on to us to communicate with. Just say if you give it to them, would they be willing to be connected on Facebook so we can give them some information? She said, now I've checked actually a little earlier, and she hasn't changed her subscription, but she said she's going to. So take charge, make those phone calls. The perks program is fantastic to get everybody on subscription for 100 PV. That's going to really help. Remember, I know I said it, but you have until the 8th to call people about the hunger control. So that's something you need to do in the next 3 days is make sure that everybody knows about the free shipping on the hunger control in Canada. If you have 130 PV subscription, of course, then your product ships free as well. Re-rank. Okay, so this month we have these poinsettia program, the poinsettia program where even small welcome pack. Now, some of you might be really good at introducing people in the larger welcome pack. If I look through the organization, there's teams where there's 70, 80% come in with large, and then there's others that are more like 30%. 1 out of every 3 probably comes in with a large pack. It doesn't matter this month or next month. Everybody who comes in with a smaller large pack is going to be worth the same to us as if they came in with a large pack. We're going to get weekly bonus, and we're going to get commissions on it. So what that means is you can rank up so much faster. You know, when we say to go super silver, in order to for Mavis to go super silver, you have to, well, actually with super silver is the one exception where even small plaques, they'll count towards your super silver advancement. But if you're pushing for gold, like Mavis will be now, gold means that she has to go from 10 active people to 100 points. Everybody has 5 points. So the 10 that she has now that are active this month is worth 50 points to her. Well, she would need 50 more points, or 10 people before this month. She'd have to have 10 large packs, or if people came in with small packs, she'd have to help them get another 100 PV order, maybe refer a customer, because she'd have to show 100 points on the report. That's what a gold is, 100 points, 20 people who've got 100 PV order. This month, Mavis could have 10 people who just all come in this month with a small pack, and they're worth 5 points, and she jets to gold much faster. So we can rank much easier, and you guys have to be intentional with your goal. It's not just, oh, I hope I make super silver this month, or I hope I go gold this month. You've got to write it down. You've got to know Nikita's new, so maybe Nikita's goal is she's going silver this month. So she's got to know, I want 3 people. Maybe you want a bigger goal than that, but you write it down, you know what your goal is, because that's the only way you can make it happen. If otherwise you're just waiting for people to knock on your door and say, hey, could you enroll me, please? But if you set it as a goal, you look for opportunities. So you can rank up faster. And then for re-ranking, you know, if you've lost your status, if you were a silver or you were a gold, and you lost your status this month and next month, you can re-rank and get a bonus again for re-ranking to that level. So you can re-rank and get a bonus. And guess what? If you help somebody in your team re-rank to silver, re-rank to gold, whatever bonus they get, they give you too. So there's lots of incentive for us to help you work. So re-rank October, November. Here's the thing you have to understand. November, December, sorry. Things you have to understand. What you do this month is going to express itself in January. It's always 60 to 90 days. If you decide, I'm going to wait till January, what you do in January, you won't see till March or April. That's just the law of the business. They get their products, takes them a little while to get going, except for the ones that come in and really want to do the business from the beginning. But a lot of people are accidental business people, right? They get on, they use the product for a month or so, and then we're doing our regular follow-up, and they say, yeah, maybe I'd like to start doing the business. So the people you put in January, you're not really getting a lot of traction until like March or April. But if you get going right now and you take advantage and you set a lofty goal, I set a goal to enroll 10 people this month. Now, my biggest month was back with the iPad month. Now I got 2 iPads. I don't remember how much that meant. I enrolled a lot of people. I made it to the leaderboard. I made it to the leaderboard with my enrollments because I set an intention that month I was going to enroll a lot. I have not enrolled any more than 2 or 3 a month since then. But this month I set a goal to enroll 10. So then I told Cindy, who said, I'm going to set a goal to do 10 too. Because people will try to do what you do. And you know what, doesn't mean we're going to do 10, but we're going to do a lot better than if our goal was only to do 3. It's going to be a lot higher. We're setting a bigger goal. We're going to create more opportunities. We're going to be more intentional. We're going to do more reach outs. It's going to be more on our mind. We're going to be asking for more referrals. I start my next call in a minute. So, and I guess only one of the last things I want to say is we have this Me+3 international program. You may not know anybody in the States and Australia or New Zealand, but you all know people who do. So if you know that, asking people, do you know anybody, everybody you talk to, do you know anybody in the States, especially anybody who might be looking to earn a little extra money? Because I'm trying to grow. If you're going to the States, if you're going on a vacation, if you're going to the States, put an ad out in the paper before you go. You've just written off your whole vacation. By doing that, you can prove to CRA that you actually went there and you did some intentional business because you put an ad in the paper. I used to do that all the time. But short of that, ask people, do you know anybody? Do you know anybody? Do you know anybody? And go through your friends list on Facebook. You actually know more people than you realize you know. And because if you can build internationally, one, those are fun markets to build in because they become independent really quickly. There's lots of support for them, and they're paying us $250 US for every 3 people we put in internationally between now and the end of the month. So of course I'm in Florida, so it's a lot easier for me. My goal is all 10 people will be here in the town I'm in. It's extra money, and I'm here, so it makes sense for me to be doing that. I hate that I'm jumping off because I'd love to be with you longer and ask questions, but I know Cindy has stuff on her agenda with you, and I'm doing the other room like now.
Anybody got a quick question for Natalie before she jumps off? Anything?
Awesome.
You did such a great job, Natalie.
Thanks
You answered
again,
all their
Natalie.
questions.
Questions they didn't even know they had.
That's right.
You guys are awesome. I sure appreciate coming in and just listen to these guys. They know what they're doing, and set some goals and make sure your goal causes you to stretch, be a little uncomfortable, and because that's how you have your wins. You never win inside your comfort zone. You always win outside your comfort zone. So do some stretching.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for jumping on with us.
Thank you for having me, and we'll chat later, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
night, everyone.
Thank
We'll let you
you.
know because I know most of you guys got to go. So thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to stop the recording.